fixture, I suppose. So what's it been like in camp, and how ready and prepared are you for this weekend?
I'd have, yeah, mate. We've had a good couple of weeks, to be fair, refining on some of the stuff that we've been working on, trying to introduce a new couple of things within training. But spirit's been good within the group, and I think it's had a lot of opportunities for people to really get stuck into the depths and technical details of certain areas, but also as well just have a little bit of a refresh and do things a little bit differently as well.
Yeah, absolutely. League ambitions, just 3 fixtures left. What are your hopes?
To be honest, we're just trying to focus on ourselves. The position, we all know the position that we are in, but we got to treat every game as if it's a final, mate. We got to go out there, we got to try and get out and get the wins that we can, and then that's going to we put ourselves in the best position, and then we see where we are then at the tail end of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And reinforcements coming back from Wales duty, have you got any of the international boys returning this weekend?
Yeah, it's great to have those boys back within the group. They brought in a great competitive edge. They've been buzzing, great being around the group, and I think they're very happy to be around with the Ospreys. Yeah, there's potential for a mixture, to get some of the boys out there and take their opportunities. Some boys, are busting to have a crack there. It's a local derby coming up on the weekend, which is massive. So yeah, there'll be a few around it.
Good to hear. It's disappointing earlier in the weeks. Jack Morgan, Scott Baldwin out for the rest of this, likely to be out for the rest of the season. Any update on the pair there? Any development after scans and so forth?
If I'm honest, mate, I'm not quite sure on the situation with those boys. All I know is that obviously they've sustained injuries and they're out for a prolonged period of time. What that time is, I'm not quite sure, to be honest with you.
Yeah, absolutely, that's fair enough. And obviously very focused on the rugby, but off the field as well, as a coaching team, perhaps now better idea of what you've got to work with next season with the developments over the last few weeks, being able to offer players new contracts and so forth. Yeah,
it's been great now that everyone's had the opportunity to progress and get things sorted out. But you just said, as a coaching group, we're more focused on the rugby side and the rugby element of it. We're coming up to a really important part of the season now, where we got those, like you said, those 3 league fixtures. There's a European competition around the corner as well. So, like you said, we've got to take every game as it comes at the moment, and each one is going to be a final and massive opportunity for us to try and better ourselves. So, that's where we're focused at the moment, mate.
Wish you the best of luck. Thank you, Richard.
Thank you very much, Dan.
Second, right, yeah. How will you decide which of your Six Nations players feature this weekend, Rich?
Say that again, Matt. How what?
How will you decide which of your Six Nations players feature this weekend?
It's around how the boys have come back in, how they're feeling as well, and which ones feel like they obviously want to have those opportunities to play. But also we've got a good group here as well, where they put their hand up over the last couple of weeks. So, there will be integration, but it won't be a massive amount of integration to get those boys up and running.
Yeah, you must have been pleased, with the progression of some of your youngsters, like Joe Hawkins, for instance.
Yeah, it's fab to see those boys getting opportunities and exposure at international level. Joe's obviously a very talented player. He's obviously still in his development phase of his career, but for him to get exposed and put into a position of the international quality games that he's been playing in, which is fab for him, and get a run, I think is great. So, all for him, it'll be better for him, and he'll learn from it and develop from it.
Yeah, he probably hasn't played that many games, 20 games maybe, I don't know, for the Ospreys. Have you noticed progression over that period and a leap forward in the Six Nations as well?
We got a quality group of centres here. You're looking at like Joe Hawkins, Kieran Williams. George has been in and around there also. Owen Watkins, Mike Collins has been around with us. So the talented group of individuals that we got as a group of centres obviously pushes those boys to get better every day and every week. So, and again, for Joe to get the game time that he has been great, and again also for him to be exposed at international level is fantastic. Kieran Williams is up and around the international scene as well, so unfortunately he didn't get any opportunities to play, but for him to get exposed to those environments, to those quality players as well, is honestly going to be massive for those boys.
How do you lift someone like Kieran, who was, as you say, he was part of the Six Nations squad, but he didn't actually get on the field? What do you tell him?
But for him to get it to the position that he was, I think I don't need to tell him anything. He's the kind of bloke, he wants to play rugby. He wants to get better. He loves the physical side of the game. So for him, it's just getting on the pitch and having that ability to play. And hopefully now we get to see that over the next couple of weeks.
What's the state of play with him, Rich? Is he injured, or he missed that last round of Six Nations games?
No, he's not injured, Mark. He's fine. He's good.
Right, okay. You've got, as you say, you've got a real deep pool of centres. Then you mentioned 4 or 5 there.
Yeah, that's right, mate. Yeah, so you've got a quality group of players, and obviously it's going to be a lot of contention and competition for those positions. But like I said, we've got a big couple of games coming up. Like I said with Dav, so there's going to be opportunity for people to get opportunity to play in.
Toby mentioned at his last press conference that he was optimistic that Dewi Lake and Gareth Anscombe may be able to play a part in either the Dragons game or be available for the Saracens match. Well, what's the state of play with those guys?
So they've both been in training this week, Mark, both featured in some form. Both have gone very well, been positive in and around the group and in the environment. And at the present moment in time, they're probably putting their hands up for having some involvement or some form between now and the tail end.
Maybe this weekend?
We can see. We can see.
But they're in full training?
Yes, they're in full training, mate.
Yeah, okay. And I thought that you're in a position to ask, have you got any news on contracts, Rich? The likes of Nicky Smith and Joe, who we mentioned, and Kieran. You must have tried your players out of contract, Can you share with us any news that people have signed or maybe leaving or whatever?
Unfortunately, Mark, I'm not in a position to make those calls at the present moment in time, so unfortunately I just won't be able to answer that question.
And what about the Dragons then? What are you expecting from them?
They've gone well over the last couple of weeks, the Dragons, from what I've seen. They play in a decent brand of rugby, and they've obviously developed very well over the course of the season. Obviously we went up there earlier on in the year, and they beat us up there, so they did very well. So it's going to be an opportunity for us now to making sure that we get back to winning ways on the weekend.
Just going back to Dewi and Gareth, what do they bring to the centre?
Gareth, he's a quality player, and he's always going to want to drive the standards and make things better. But he always got that about him. He's always a threat on the attacking side of the ball, and people like Dewi Lake, he got that physicality. He's shown that on many occasions when he's played. So when those both are playing, they'll add that value to our game.
That's a startling recovery by Gareth, because it was suggested he might struggle to make Wales his summer tests.
Yeah, fair play to him. He's put the work in, and hopefully he gets the opportunity to reap the benefits of his rewards.